Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Delegate Assembly meeting for the month of June. We're going to call the meeting to order now, and we will begin by rising for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you all. First item on the agenda is to request if there are any additions, deletions, or changes to modify the agenda as published. Does anyone have anything they'd like to bring forward? I will step in for... Hello? Yeah. I'm going to modify the agenda by not addressing item 12. We will not hear the motion today from Ann Hofert. I was going to present that in her absence. She cannot be here today, but Linda Spalding could not either. And for me to present a motion or speak, I must turn the meeting over to the vice chair, and the vice chair is not here. So I think it's most appropriate that Ann present her own motion, which she will do at the next meeting. And so that's the only modification. Any other changes? Okay, if no other changes, we'll move on. And the next item of business is to approve the minutes from the May 1st meeting. Does anyone have any changes or modifications to those minutes? B.
Yes, there is a correction to the spelling of Gary Burkle's last name.
Is there a page reference for people?
Page 2.
Page 2, spelling error for Gary Burkle.
Instead of B-U-R-K-E-Y, it should be B-U-R-K-E-L.
Any other changes to the minutes? Then I need a motion to approve as modified. Anita makes the motion, second from Saucy. Anyone opposed? Then I'll assume that it carries, and we'll record them as modified. Now, next item is number 3, the chair report. Little off the cuff. First of all, we don't have Ann Hofer with us here today. She could not make it as well, so Peggy Hutain is here on her behalf as the alternate, and Linda Myers-Kalb has come in as alternate to fill in for Linda Spalding, and we thank you guys for coming to the meeting today. The thing about when we started this with my chair, when I took the chair a little over a year ago, I think that coming together was a beginning, and that's a good thing. And working together, keeping together, is progress. I'm not sure that we're quite there yet on the keeping together. There's too much dissension, really, within a very small body, and we need to all try as best as we possibly can to extend other people the respect, the dignity, and the grace, because we're all volunteers and we are on the same team. There's no reason, if we're all on the same team, that we can't act like teammates, support one another. On a good team, you don't do anything without your teammate knowing exactly what you're doing so they can respond appropriately. We're not to that point yet. We'll know that we have success when we start working together well. And to this point in time, we're not quite there. I think that we're still on number 2 in that formula, and that's because we have to be a cohesive unit. By ourselves, individually, we have no power. The only power we have is as a group. And that group is to help define and then recommend improvements to the organization that is the place that we love, the homeowners association that we live in. That's my message for the day. So we'll move on to number 4. Number 4 is standing speakers, and I think the first one that we have is Candace Jenkins from EPAP. Is there anyone here from EPAP? Okay, we'll move on to Michelle Walter with Community Awareness.
Good afternoon, delegates. Michelle Walter. I'm going to talk about two different, can you hear me? Because this is getting a little bit of feedback here. Okay, we had a great presentation from our law enforcement agencies, which included Riverside District Attorney's Office, the Sheriff Department, CHP. Parole was unable to attend. I'm not sure exactly what they were doing, but I guess we all have a good idea. And we had an information from Bob Walter from probation. They gave explanations on what their particular jobs and agencies do for our city and our county. I just had to say, we had such a wonderful turnout of our residents. I was very, very pleased. Our next program is on July 1st, which we have a presentation on wills, probate, and trusts. Maybe this might be a little bit better. Can you hear me? No, you can't hear me. Okay, this has got a lot of feedback. Okay, how about now? Nope, because I think theirs is on. Is that a little bit better? I just wanted to let you know our employee of the month for April was Gina from Food and Beverage. Gina started with Sun Lakes in January of 2018. Since that day, she has dedicated herself to serve the residents and their guests, always with a friendly smile and a welcome personality. Gina is always willing to assist in any location of our operations, whether it's a sandwich, the lounge, or banquets. Her professionalism is always noticed by residents alike. We were proud to give Gina the Employee of the Month and a Visa gift card for her outstanding job performance. Again, don't forget, there are slips of paper all over in the lobby, the restaurant, the lounge, the sandwich, for residents to fill out to select an employee whom they feel should be recognized for the job performance. Again, this can be maintenance, the pro shop, monitors, restaurant staff, and administration. Not like Chris, or Jason, or Tammy, or Mark Schleiden. Not our bigwigs, none of them. So, our bigwigs. So our next welcome home is on July 24th at 5 o'clock in the ballroom. If you are a club or a group that would like to be included in the welcome home, please contact me and we will have a table set up for you. This is a great way to meet our new homeowners and get them involved in our activities. And don't forget, delegates, please make sure you contact your residents. At our next meeting, I will give you that little, did you guys like the what do we have, invitation?
Yes.
The invitation.
Yes.
Okay, I will bring the invitations next month. I didn't bring them this month. I don't think it's too late to give them to you at the beginning of the month. So I think, and I'll bring them at that time. So make sure you get those out to your residents. Fabian already sent out 2 of your welcome home logs, so you should already have that. Okay, good. And I'm just gonna do this real quick. The following stats on the home sales in May, from May 1st to May 27th. There were active or coming soon were 72, 12 condos, prices from $299 to $372, 60 homes, prices from $324 to $575. In escrow were 20, 3 condos, 17 homes. Closed escrows, we only had 8. Homes, prices from $282 to $430, 1 condo price from $315. So if you take our 2310 times 8, that was $18,480, depending if they were all new home buyers. In April closed, 18 closed, and that was an amount of $41,580 that went into our replenishment fund. I have that already in my article for, so you guys don't need to put it in your article because I already have it in there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And we'll move on to item 5. Item 5 would be an update from the survey committee and the chairwoman, Carly Beeks.
Okay. Yeah. Michelle's going to go ahead and pass out some information so you can look at it while I'm talking about it. Feedback. Is this good? Perfect. Okay, hello board, delegates, and residents of Sun Lakes. First of all, I want to thank my committee. They've been a great help for me. It is Dolores Daltrey, David Miller, Linda Vieira, Doherty. Sorry, Dolores, Doherty. Linda Vieira, Linda Spalding, B. Mercado, and Michelle Walter. And what Michelle is passing out to you is our outline that we came up with. So the first bullet point was 70% or better response to get from the committee, from our residents. We will be having a district competition. That is where the districts with the highest percentage of return responses will receive $100. Second place will be $75, and third place will be $50. And that is being given to us by the marketing department. The second survey question is, will be 4 multiple choice questions and 1 concern or suggestion question. We figured that way they could circle the answer instead of filling out the forms. And then every delegate will need to give Michelle Walters the number of occupied homeowners in their district. That means who's living in the home, because we don't want to make a flyer for residents who are not living in an empty house. And then the delegate will receive, you'll see your 5x7 card, and that will be enclosed with your newsletter. And then each delegate will be responsible for receiving back the questionnaire, and once received, he or she will compile the information and then email their numbers over to David Miller, who will input them into an Excel spreadsheet. And then for the non-responses, it's up to each delegate to, what? Okay, and then for the non-responses, each delegate will contact their residents who did not complete the questionnaire in their own way of going to them or emailing them or calling them. So do you see the, yes, B. B. Do, 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 do.
Carly,
Yes.
I currently count 5 questions.
What did I say?
4.
Oh, we added another one, sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you.
I just wanted you
It's
to
the
have-
bottom one. How do you access your information?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. So B, only the committee has
The corrected
this?
one?
Correct. You guys are looking at, our first one, correct. So the last question on there, that's why I said 4 and not the 5. So we wanted some responses from our delegates. Yes.
Okay, it says, Kate Reed, District 20. Non-responses, each delegate will contact the resident who did not complete the questionnaire. How do you know who? There's no name. Are these supposed to be arbitrary,
Well,
anonymous?
It's up to each delegate to figure out how they want to compile that information.
Well, somebody comes and drops it in the delegate's mailbox and they
Yes,
don't have a name or
if you would,
nothing.
as a delegate in your newsletter, you might want to say if you'd like to sign the card, it'd be greatly appreciated. Or put their address.
I think people have issues with that.
By not signing it or signing it.
They're more likely to fill out a survey that's anonymous than having their.
Right.
I did it. Oh, Kate did it, So, whatever.
Well, that's why we decided to leave it up to each delegate how they would like to handle that. Because we know if their residents have to fill it out, put their address or their name, they most likely wouldn't do it, because they like to be anonymous. Yes, Mike. Right. Yes, Mike.
Oh, of course.
I believe we should do away with please indicate any concerns or suggestions you may have. This is a poll, and I don't think we want to hear a,
Yeah, but this is a way so we can understand what their concerns are.
okay, well, it's fine with me if you want to get that kind of information, but I thought it was a polling thing.
Yes, Greg?
I thought it was demographic information we were looking for.
We already have that. The marketing department took care of that. Don, do you have anything you'd like to Add.
Yesterday, we had an executive meeting, and it was kind of timely because of your meeting today where you were going to announce it to the delegate assembly. The board reviewed the mechanics of how you were going to do this. We were pretty impressed and pleased that you were able to do this so quickly. The request that we made at the last delegate assembly meeting was twofold. One was to develop the mechanisms of how you were going to conduct the survey, which you've done. And then the other was we asked for recommended questions that you think would be added, be appropriate to add to the survey. The board has not sat down and reviewed those questions and see how they match up with the information that management is already gathering. Some of that information, like vacant homes, rentals, foreclosed homes, and a grouping of the ages in the district is in the process of being done. And I think, Chris, you plan on having that done with a temp in 2 weeks. So as far as the mechanics of how you're going to recognize, we did have a discussion on that. It sounded like the recommendation on how to track who has received return to a survey and who has not, I think we understood it, but probably you're going to have additional conversations with the groups and the delegates before that goes out.
Yes.
So I think that's pretty much where you're at.
Yes. Yes, Charlie.
I think one thing we have to address is after we pass these out, I have like 7 people passing out my newsletters. And I have a mailbox on my front porch for them to deposit these in. But there's no place for addresses or to find out who turned them in and we need to contact as to why they didn't turn them in.
Yeah,
Will that
and-
be addressed in the next one of these that comes out?
Yeah, could I make a comment to that? Because we were presented with a method of doing that, but I think that's going to be a subsequent conversation between the team that did the program and how you delegates are going to send them out and receive them back. I think that's a separate conversation you're going to have.
Okay.
From what was presented to the board, it seemed to make a lot of sense, but this is probably not the time to get into the level of detail.
Right,
But you're absolutely right, that
Yes.
it needs to be defined better. I think they have a plan, okay?
Right, this
Great.
is just our first draft, and we wanted to present it to the delegates. Yes, Jean?
You're talking about residents, homeowners, and tenants. You're talking about, I don't know who you want this survey to be addressed to, so you need to use one word as a descriptor for the intended person to fill it out. So you need to decide that. Also, if it's anonymous and there's no way to retrieve it back, you're diminishing the 70% even lower. I don't know how to trace back who didn't send it, so maybe that's what Don's talking about.
Yes.
But it's very confusing.
That will be communicated to you at a later date.
Right,
from
at a later-
what
right.
our understanding was, and I think it'll work. So, got to be patient on that one.
B?
B. Mercado, District 15. I'm looking at or listening to the questions, and I feel that maybe we can address this at one of our district delegate workshops, where you come as a group together, bring your issues, your concerns. We can actually create something that works for all of us, and we can also give you ideas about what our team has come up with. So I would recommend that maybe we bring this back to the district delegate at the next workshop.
That makes sense.
Good. Linda, did you have a question?
I can deal with it at the meeting.
Okay. All right, yeah, I agree. I think that's a great, thank you. So, like I said, we just wanted to send this to you. Right, well, not until it's fixed.
Carly, Carly, do I understand correctly? You want to take this up at the next workshop?
Yes, please.
Okay, no
Yes.
problem.
We just wanted to let you know this is what's happening, this is what we came up with so far, but there's more to it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just to comment a little bit further on that as far as the plan to put this out. One of the things the board would like to do is help the delegates any way we can with communicating this to residents in advance. So we will be looking to work with management to help prepare some documentation, whether it be Channel 97, Good Day Sun Lakes, flyers, and see if we can get some support. So you have some communication tools between the time you finalize the program and your next delegate workshop and the time we're going to roll this out. I believe, Carly, the plan is to send this out as a survey in August.
Yes, if everything is approved, we hope to get it out in the middle of August.
So we got a lot of marketing we want to do to make sure that it's easier for you guys to get your 70%. So, but thanks for everything you did. I think you've done a great job so far. Thanks.
Okay, if there's nothing further, we'll move on to Javier Sarmiento, but I don't see him here. Rachel's going to do it.
Good afternoon, delegates. Thank you again for having food and beverage at your meeting. And I want to introduce Carrie Bowes. She is my colleague in our marketing department and has been supporting us with all of our marketing materials and our communications. And we wanted to come to you today and ask you what the best way to get our information to you to share in your newsletters. So if you look up at the screens, we've prepared a one-page document with communication that we'd like to go out to all the residents here, and wanted your feedback on how you could include this information in your newsletters. So would you like us to just provide you with a digital copy of the one page and include that in your newsletters? Does that make your newsletter too big? We're just here for feedback to understand what format you'd like to have it in.
Just send it to the printer.
Right, have it added to what
It's,
the
it
board-
would be automatic.
But before we go there, the generalized rule for newsletters from delegates is a single piece of paper printed on two sides.
Okay.
There is occasionally added to that something that's happening in the districts, some sort of district function, some advertisement for that, and then the board will include the message from the board, and usually there is attached to that something about community awareness as well, and sometimes from EPAP. This is mostly, I think, a decision for the board. If the board feels that this is appropriate to attach to every newsletter, we can certainly vote on that as a group and see if we think it's appropriate, and maybe that would help. Would someone like to make a motion to that effect? So moved by Marcia. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. What's the motion, Marcia?
Motion is to ask the board to include. Sorry. The motion would be to ask the board to include the CCL monthly updates to automatically be included in the monthly newsletter.
Okay. The motion's on the table. It's been seconded. Is there any discussion for this motion? Kate?
I just have a question. Kate Reed, District 20. Who's paying for it? And the board has to pay for it, or CCL
Yes.
pays for it?
They
or-
would have to.
Okay.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know.
There's an expense associated with it.
And
The
then
association would have to pay.
a follow-up to that is, do you want it to be a half page? Should it be smaller? We can make it fit on half a page if it doesn't matter. Okay.
I think the board would like clarification from the district assembly. Is something that you think would be valuable to your residents, and whether you would like it included or not.
That's what we're talking about now. Kate?
I absolutely agree, because every month I try to add something into my newsletter about the dining facilities and what's going on. So this would be a huge help for me.
Does anyone? Marcia?
One of the things that we talked about in our restaurant and lounge committee meeting today was to get the consistent message out to all the residents about the restaurant, about anything else that's going on. This would be perfect to do that so that it comes directly from CCL and not the interpretation of every delegate and how you write that in. So in my opinion, from a restaurant and lounge committee member or the chair, I would highly recommend that we do that.
Any other comments? Jim?
Jim Nichol, District 3. I just wondering, the content in your information, is this something the board should approve, or will this be directly to our newsletter from the folks at CCNL? Does the board have to approve the content and what is being advertised? I'm not sure how that works. Thank you. Don?
We can discuss it with the board, but this board has been very consistent with delegating the authority for CCL to control their people, their menus, their communication. It's been their responsibility to do so, and unless if that changes, which I don't see based on where we're at right now, we're governing them, and we're not trying to manage their efforts. So if you're okay with that direction, I believe that has been the consistent direction so far, has it not?
Yes, it has. We appreciate that, and we really recognize the need for print material to go out to additional members that are not utilizing social media or the website. So this would be very helpful for us to reach those people.
Anita?
I would just like to note to CCL that often newsletters are not supposed to go out until after we have our delegate assembly meeting. So any upcoming events that you might have planned for that particular month, bear in mind that by the time the newsletters go out, something that's early in the month may have already passed, so make sure that what you're providing is relevant for the time that newsletters are delivered. Or if it's something that's going to come up at the very first part of a month, put it in that one so it can be a pre-information to the residents.
Okay, can I just ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
My understanding was that after this meeting, the newsletters, you wrote your pieces and then it went to print. When does it actually get distributed to the members?
Well, normally, after this meeting, we get it to the printer as soon as possible. We pick it up, and I put it together immediately and get it out to my zone captains. This month, it just went out early because our meeting has been delayed a week because of Charity Week.
So this month's newsletter is already out.
This month is already out, so the next one.
Not all.
No. Each individual district, does their own newsletter, correct? Right, Diane?
Can we request that a drop dead date be given to CCL so they know when they should have that distributed to you?
If I can clarify, I think that the issue that Anita raises is that oftentimes we will receive publications that are stale dated simply by a week or 10 days because they pick up at the beginning of the month. This is why we're moving the meeting date for the DDA to next year. It will follow the board meeting the next day after. So this problem rectifies in January. But up until then, you just kind of have to be aware that your cycle is kind of from the 10th to the 10th would be the best time frame.
So I guess my question is, so in this monthly newsletter, we are advertising our welcome celebration on June 20th. Are the newsletters going to be to the members before that or after June 20th?
Mine's already out.
Okay.
The problem is that sometimes the district delegate meeting fell on the 2nd, and sometimes it didn't fall until the 9th. So that was an issue there to get the newsletter out, because you don't put your newsletter out till you have the district delegate meeting, blah, blah, blah.
Greg?
I had trouble for that. But like Michelle's community awareness on July 1st, I don't know if it's going to be attached to the next newsletter, or it was this one? Okay, so, it just falls into... Yeah. Okay, so we already got yours. So if you know in advance, it's going to be early in the month and get it into the previous month's newsletter. Otherwise, that's going to change.
Yes, it will. Greg?
My newsletter will go to the printer right after this meeting. It'll be picked up tomorrow morning before lunch, and it'll be in cubbies under mailboxes in District 16 by 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. You actually have a news brief in my newsletter about the welcome event.
Thank you.
So
Appreciate
personally, I'm a little concerned because if you put all your data about what's going on in your separate document, I may not have any copy for my newsletter.
And that's what we were here asking today, of what
Yeah,
format do we want to get it to
I
you in?
interpret things, yes, but I think I interpret things well and effectively. Otherwise, we're going to be like that little packet that comes in the mailbox once a week that's got an ad for Cardenas and an ad for Vons and an ad for Albertsons and everything else, and we're just going to be the paper boys.
Linda?
I have always had my newsletter out before the first of the month. After the open session, because I think it's ridiculous to wait until January to change. I mean, there's not that much that's decided here that hasn't already been discussed in the open session. And I feel badly that Michelle's wonderful community awareness is missed. Yes. Because I know people who, just like you guys are saying, you're gonna have your newsletter out tomorrow. That's the half of the month is gone. It's a waste, and I think it's an insult to our residents. So I always have mine out before the first of the month.
If I can bring us back to the topic at hand. The topic at hand, the motion on the floor, is do we want to ask the master board to approve the expenditure of printing and attaching to everyone's newsletter this particular information from CCL? That's the motion on the floor. That's what we should be talking about. The other issues are just little problems that get fixed along the way. But that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about...
Can we call for the vote? Call for the
Does
vote.
anyone want to have any comments about the motion? Yes, Jason.
Clarification. The motion that I have stated, ask the board to include CCL notification in monthly newsletters, perpetual. Is that the motion, or is it just for this one?
No, it's perpetual.
Okay, so that's the motion that's on the table.
Yeah, on all future newsletters.
Okay, and you guys, just for say, I think for CCL, that's perfect. You guys know that it's gonna go in there, the board's gonna pay for it. All you gotta do is think a month ahead of time.
Yes.
And then that way, just get it a month ahead, just like Michelle does, and you're good. Just send it to me, I'll get it to the printer, just like I send Michelle's and the board. And then it'll be in there for that following month.
Problem solved. Yes, Linda.
Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but CCL is a business. CCL is a business. We do want to support the restaurant, for sure.
Yes.
But if they have an advertising marketing person, don't they have a marketing budget? Why would it go to whoever you said it was going to go to pay for it?
Okay, so can we speak, in other words, you're speaking against, you said.
No, I think we ought to do it. I'm saying
Okay,
it's a company, they have a marketing person, they must have a marketing budget. Why can't they pay for their own paper?
does anyone?
I think it's a wonderful idea.
Don, would you like to address that?
Yeah, I can clarify that for you. In the contract that we have with CCL, we have a monthly projection for the whole year. There's 2 line items in that. One is for training and advertising. We have a second line item for custom advertising. We, as the HOA, are paying that through the direct costs that are billed from CCL. But if we are going to be printing things here, that would be an HOA expense no matter who pays for it. So I wouldn't get hung up on whether CCL pays for it or we pay for it. We're gonna end up paying for it one way or the other.
Oh, thank you for the
So
clarification.
the question is this something that you would like them to do?
Are there any more comments on the motion on the floor?
Marcia was the first, who was the second? Linda, Eugene? Both of you?
Okay, the motion has been called for a vote. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Well, don't know that we have anybody else left to vote. I think it passed.
Rachel,
Very good.
Are you clear when you need to get it to them?
I will find out what that date is,
All right.
John, and we will have it ready.
I kind of thought that was going to be your answer.
If I can make a comment?
Absolutely.
Your advertising, marketing, and I don't remember your name, please? Carrie, you do a splendid job. Very, very lovely graphics, very good-looking advertising.
Just thank you all for your support. We appreciate your patronage in all of the venues. Please continue to come and support the food and beverage department. We're here for you and to take care of you. Please continue to provide us with your feedback, and we will continue to adapt to meet your needs. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Italian night tonight.
Yes. We do have Italian night tonight.
Italian night.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is item number 7. This would be a report from the Recreation Department, and we have the stand-in once, always, and sometimes part-time, but always Assistant General Manager, Jason Ewalls.
Thank you, Cal. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to be real quick. You guys, there's a few events coming up here over the next month or two that I want you to be notified about. First off, our first Music Under the Stars will take place June 28th, and it will be Delaney and James. So they'll be out on the bump out. Remember, you can come out on the driving range, set up out there, and have fun. So that'll be the 28th, 6:30 to 9 p.m. outside. 4th of July, that's coming up right around the corner. I know that there has been info in the Lifestyles about it. For those of you that are thinking about putting a cart or a float in there, if you have not registered already, please check with the Recreation Department and make sure you get that filled out so we can make sure you are a part of the parade. Great day full of festivities, as you guys are all aware. I know that our Veterans Club is getting more involved this year, so I'm very happy with that. So I look forward to that great event. That will start early. It starts at 9 a.m., but I know that the carts will start lining up about 8 o'clock. That's about the time that the Bloody Mary bar will be open as well, I believe. So, Blood Drive. Speaking of blood drive. Coming up, July 18th. Always a great thing to give back, you guys, and I will say this community has always come out and given their fullest to the blood drives, and I know the blood bank is very, very thankful for that. That will be July 18th from 7 to 11, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's going to be here in the multipurpose room. You do not need an appointment, but there will be the flyers out there that you can just call and book one or use the QR code that they have on the sheet and book one. But walk-ins are always welcome. July 25th, Comedy Night. So make sure you come in and get your tickets for that. I know Linda has those tickets for sale. July 26th is the next Music Under the Stars. I'm not too sure that's going to be right now off the top of my head, but again, like I said, June, July, August, September, we'll be out there on the veranda that last Saturday on the bump out and allow you guys to be out on the driving range and have a good time. One thing, I know this is a few months out, you guys, but I do want to make you aware of this. September 5th, we will be having a casino night. So that's something that we haven't done in quite some time. I think the last time I did it was about 10 years ago. But looking forward to that. You guys, it's going to be a great event. That's going to be September 5th. Look for more info to come on that. We will have a band in here. We'll have the table games for you to play. So it should be a great night. So again, look forward to more information on that. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Anita Lawrence, District 18. In addition to the golf cart parade on the 4th of July, will there be other activities like barbecue or face painting?
Of course.
Okay, thank you.
You know, I got the face painter, the balloon animals, the juggler, the magician, all that's already lined up. Snow cones, all that. We're good. Great. So again, it's going to be a full day at an event. Watermelon eating contest, you know, the whole 9 yards like we always do. Thank you, EPAP. I know you guys are going to be out there. Linda, thank you so much. I appreciated having you guys out there last year. Helped out. I know it's going to be another warm one, so thank you for participating in that again. Any other questions? Yes, Jim.
Jim Nickel, District 3. I just want to reiterate on the blood bank, the blood donations. It's easier if you register ahead of time. It goes much more smoothly, and also you go online. They have set times, so sometimes you may end up not getting or getting very late in the afternoon, but it goes very smooth. And there's 5 types of bloods. You can do double, so I do it.
Thank you for that.
Forever and ever. So it's a great. In fact, I had a call. I'm O-type, and they requested blood from the hospital, so here we are. But it's really a worthwhile cause. And they'll give you $10 Starbucks cards or a $20 MasterCard for the privilege of going, but it's really worthwhile. They're good people.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Seeing none others, thank you guys. You all have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Jason. And the next item on the agenda would be the number 8, announcements from the Board of Directors.
Thank you, Cal. Few items that I'll cover. You already have the message from the master board, but I'll hit a few items, and one in particular I'd like to come back to. I will be leaving before your questions, and I will leave you with Joe, our vice president, to follow up. I have a conference call I'm scheduled at 3 o'clock, so let's get started though. Obviously, I'd like to comment on the demographic survey. I think you guys have done a great job in that. You know, we basically, at the last meeting when all the board members were present, we asked you guys if you would do that, and you put a team together and executed the mechanics portion of that very well. The Spectrum, excuse me, Spectrum contract is live now. We've heard some comments that residents are confused about some of the aspects of it, specifically the billing for the second DVR box. We also have had some comments that some people are having difficulty with it installing the new technology. We reached out to management to contact Spectrum to try to clarify some of the things that aren't really clear to the residents. The DVR boxes is one. We've also, and Jason may be able to elaborate a little bit more, but we looked at what was provided by Spectrum yesterday at the delegate meeting. We thought it was inadequate, and Jason is taking that back to Spectrum for further clarification. And he could explain more of that if you want to ask that question at the end. As you have heard, you know, Rachel's been in here for, and CCL's been in here for a couple months now. They're working hard to understand our people, when they want to come to the restaurant, when they don't want to come to the restaurant. That's obviously been given challenges on how do you staff efficiently while supplying customer service, because they did very well on sales the very first month. They exceeded their first month's projection of sales in only 3 weeks. And after a couple, 2-3 weeks into the month of April, everybody that came out in force has now started to settle into their regular pattern of participation. So now they're in the process of trying to balance labor. So that's ongoing, but there is no intention at this point of changing any operating hours. They want to stay open as promised and work through those issues of understanding when you guys come and when you don't. So the more you come, the easier their job is. So participation is pretty important, as well as communicating back to them. In the restaurant meeting today, Rachel and Carrie shared the happy or not results for May. We went over a few of the items that are coming back as far as comments. They have reacted to those comments. You'll see it in expanded menus. You've seen it in improved banquets from Easter to Mother's Day. So that feedback is very, very important. So please keep that up. Security is a major task. We started looking at the actual reporting from Securitas in March, continued that into April with the new board. And if you go on the website, you will see that new reporting. And instead of having one page of all kinds of numbers, all different projects, we've grouped them by major incidents on the top of the page. So you'll be able to see the major incidents that you're interested in an hourly basis, by shift, by location, as well as by day of the week. So that information is available to you. We shared that first report at the open board meeting, and the plan is that security will be presenting that report monthly at the open board meeting. So please take a look at that. You'll have a much better understanding of the security and safety of the community at this point. And Joe and Bob are also working with Securitas and the Banning Police, and maybe you could ask him some questions about that at the end. And the one that I did want to talk about, it was discussed at the last open when the board was here. In addition to the request to put together a demographic survey, we also discussed benchmarking our website and deciding what to do with that to make it better. That was brought up because of information that was put out by the district delegates before CCL took over, that was a project that you thought you wanted to work on. Whether that's something you still want to do or not, that is entirely up to you. The initial thought at that meeting, I believe, was that the delegate assembly would put together a team with the marketing committee to look at the website to see what could or should be done, or at least understand the pros and cons of what we have. So I will defer that back to the delegate assembly for you to discuss in a workshop environment or whenever you want to do that. If that's a project that you'd like to do, we would love to have you do it, but it's entirely up to you. We're not mandating anything. We requested that you take on the demographic survey. You grabbed onto it and did a great job with it, and I'm sure when we get it implemented, it's going to give us the information we need to better understand our community. So that's all I have. Joe, anything you want to add at this time?
Anybody have any questions about security and where we're moving forward? We've been working really hard on a lot of the products that would update our facility and make us a lot safer place. So if anybody has any questions, we're still in the middle of the program, but working through it. Yeah, B.
B. Mercado, District 15. Can you give us some indication as to what programs or products you're coming up with to help out?
Sure, I can give you a brief description of where we're kind of headed and the direction I'm trying to go. Historically, years ago, the fencing was placed on our perimeter, and it's very short. A lot of areas is extremely short, and people have shared with me some of their concerns on those areas. There's products out there now that I've been using in my business for many years. There's a fiber optic cabling system that I'm looking at getting bids on the entire north side property. So from the street all the way around the back, around by the railroad, about 1,600 feet. And this would tie into our alarm system. It would give us GPS readings within 7 feet if there's an intrusion. Currently, we have nothing. So that would put a security blanket around the property and give us a little bit better peace of mind. Secondly, I'm looking into new gate reader systems on all 6 gates, having license plate recognition AI technology, that possibly working with Chris and the management team, if we're able to accomplish this, it would do away with the stickers on your car. It would read your license plate and allow you in and out. That would also incorporate a QR code system reader on the gates, all 6. So if a guest was to be placed in the system, they could come in and out of any of the gates, not just gate 1 and load up the street, which would free things up, I think, a little bit. And we would put some measures in place that would have a little bit more control of the sub-vendors that come into our property. We would incorporate them into that system so we'd know a little bit more about them when they're coming and going. We're looking at, Chris and I are looking at the cameras throughout the property. We're trying to look towards changing some of those out to AI technology that work more like an alarm system. So it's not just recording a crime, it's actively telling us that there's possibly a crime going on, which would give us better response time. But through these new technologies, it would afford us the opportunity to revise and look at this current scheduling of the security contract and maybe bank some hours on overnights to add, move some positions around and add a second patrol in the evening hours on swing shift when we're getting ready to go to bed. So those are some of the items that we're looking at.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah, Jim.
Joe, thank you. Jim Nickel again, District 3. Joe, there's a wall beside my home because we face right on Sun Lakes Boulevard. That lower wall we used when we had the drill last year, where someone came over, and someone actually did come over. 2 years ago, I had 5 of our homes, including mine, attempted break-in. we've got the people apprehended, no damage. But that wall, there's no lights there, there's no cameras, and it's a low wall. And my understanding from the past was if we increase the size of that wall, it will break down the statics of the whole community. Is that something where perhaps that wall it's a real issue spot because it's right across that entrance into the shopping center, and then you have the homeless in the field right across. Is that something we could probably look into, please?
So, in the negotiations I'm doing with the fiber optics company right now, I've incorporated from the hard wall behind the 17th green all the way to the intersection and all the way to gate 1, because you and I have discussed that in the past. So
Yes.
you would have the same technology on that corner of the property as well.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Next on the agenda would be announcements from Board of Directors. Excuse me, from administration.
Perfect. I'll be very quick just to dovetail on some of the spectrum issues. So we have been receiving members' calls about that, additional 1325. And as Don said, we are working with them. We have reached back out and they have commented that they should give us an answer by early next week. Once we have that, then we can post that on the website. We'll e-blast it so the membership has the most up-to-date information from Spectrum. A couple of last things are just April management report is online. As a reminder, you can find this on the Sun Lakes website under community information, reports and forms, general manager reports. And also for the community patrol reports, we're going to put that under community information, management services, and there will be a little tab there or a little highlighted section that says community patrol, and that's where you can go in and see these revised reports that Mike Romero talked about at the last open session. That's it.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, number 10 on the agenda, we will now take announcements and comments from the district delegates, and we'll start with Barbara.
Barbara Elnis, District 1. I have a question about gift cards for the districts. Is anything being done about that? Does anybody know? We never got them, yeah.
They're working on it.
Yeah, well, I'm having a party pretty soon. I'm gonna have to buy my own, I guess.
Does Chris, do you have anything on that, or Jason? Gift cards?
So we don't.
Excuse me, Chris.
Yes, ma'am.
The Lifestyle Advisory Committee had a meeting with Rachel, and we brought that up, and she said that they're trying to tie it into not paying CCL, but actually connecting it directly to a credit card, so that it would be, so if you use, no, I'm sorry, that's the house accounts. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, that's the House accounts. So the other option we've got to work with the board is, are we going to start issuing Visa cards, Visa gift cards to the delegates? That's going to be the only solution we have. And so we'll have to come back to the board, get their approval to do that.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
So the answer is I'm still waiting for board direction on that. Sorry, Barbara, they were talking over there. It's their fault, not yours.
Loretta?
Loretta Kuzar, District 2, and I have several things that I would like to say today. First off, I have been the delegate for District 2 for the last 5 years. And you may or may not know me that well and have never tried, and what you think of me is none of my business. And if there's anything that you would like to know and know it fully, is talk to me. and I have talked with most everyone here. I enjoy being there. I've put out a newsletter every month. Sometimes it's later than other times, but every month I've done a newsletter. And I would, if you want to see my newsletters, I have several of them here. I read the things that I'm supposed to do as a district delegate. And I have accomplished all of those things. Getting out the newsletter every month, working with other delegates who are very nice and very caring and help me with the things that I do not clearly understand. So that's my talk for today.
Thank you, Loretta. Jim?
Good afternoon, everyone. Jim Nickel, District 3. I have two issues. One, basically, we had a barbecue event at our pool this last Tuesday, and we used the recycling funds to pay for that. I was a barbecue master. Went along very well. Games, quizzes, 50-50. Very, very nice time. And maintenance did a great job bringing over canopies, extra chairs, tables. Picked them up the next day, totally on time. My other thing is more of a community announcement. On Memorial Day, I had the pleasure of being invited to the ceremony at Riverside National Cemetery. It was in the amphitheater. It was an excellent event, and I would recommend any of our vets to go out there. I haven't been there in many, many years, and in fact, I did some ceremonies years ago. But it was a super event, very well. The traffic on the 60 was very light. There was a breeze getting there. We used the amphitheater, and some of the highlights, they had the Riverside National Sympathy Orchestra playing songs, patriotic songs. We had a bugler play taps. The colors were brought in from the 5 services. Excellent. Some wonderful speakers. We had a bagpiper play Amazing Grace. And of course, we had a rifle volley from a 5-member team of the Marine Corps, and they did 3 volleys. So it's a tremendous patriotic event. And for all us vets out here, next Memorial Day, a worthwhile event to attend. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. Wonderful event. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
I forgot
Loretta.
one very important thing. We had one of the earlier delegates, he was district delegate, and his wife has been very active in helping with District 2. He passed away on a couple of days ago. I don't know exactly what day it was, but that's, have to find her name, sorry. Priscilla, a jazz car. Yes. So she was in the process yesterday of getting the date set. So if you know her, please call her, talk to her. Thank you.
Dolores Doherty, District 4. I have a couple of thank yous, and Chris, I thanked you yesterday for that horrible looking door on Cypress Point that we've had for years. And I just think everybody else should know what a good job you did. It didn't have to go before the board. You took care of that, and I really appreciate it. And the door looked like it belonged somewhere in the bad part of LA. It was horrible and very embarrassing because we have people coming through here and they want to buy a home, but when they see that, they're like, okay, we don't want to be here. So anyway, thank you, Chris. Thank you for Mark. I don't see him here. He replaced a lamp on my street that was not working properly. It was missing a piece of the plexiglass, so thank you to Mark for that. And I want to give a caution out to the other delegates here. I have a resident that had a very sizable check stolen out of her mailbox. And her bank, which is Citibank, contacted her, and it was very obvious that somebody erased the name that she had put in there and put their own name, and it was cashed. And the person that was helping her at Citibank told her that 4 other people in Sun Lakes have experienced the same thing. So I would caution people, don't put your checks in the mail overnight. If you can, wait till the morning and take it to the box that's over there by the administration building. Or if you don't even do that and you pay online, that's even better. But be careful about doing that, because it was not something she would normally do. But she has a husband that she takes care of, and she recently had a stroke herself. So she did the only thing that she could do at the time, and she will never do it again. But anyway, and then I was going to mention, you talked about Spectrum, and I did have a resident that went over there, and if you don't record on those DVRs, you can return them for one that doesn't record, and they won't charge you the $13.50, in case you don't know. So anyway, I think that's it. Thank you.
Dave Miller, District 5. I've got no comment at this time. Thanks.
Gail Billy, District 7. I want to thank Fran for her monthly breakfast meetings that she does with our district. Those are really important for helping to get information out. And our next event will be July 24th.
Kathy Aldrighetti, District 8, and I have nothing at this time.
Linda Vieira, District 9. I would just like to thank Carly in District 14 for allowing our districts to join your district. We had a lot of fun at a 50s sock hop. It was so much fun. We had generations. We had delicious food. It was so much fun. Thank you so much, Carly, for that. And that's it for me.
Good afternoon, Jean Dobson, District 10. I want to shout out a big thank you to Michelle Walter for bringing the Synergy program to Sun Lakes. I know many of our residents have been lucky to benefit from the offerings, and I think if it wasn't for Michelle and her community awareness program, it would not have happened. So again, thank you, Michelle, for all that. Again, thank you, Barbara. I wanted to talk to CCL about the gift cards, so it's kind of important. It's a tradition that we've had for so many years, so I hope that doesn't fall through. And to administration, I've asked before why we can't have the minutes for today's meeting produced quicker. This week is an extra week, and still the minutes weren't produced until yesterday. That's not acceptable. There's 3 pages, 2.5 pages. It's a lot to digest, and I can't remember yesterday what happened 5 weeks ago. Sometimes I can't remember what happened yesterday. So whoever is producing them, they know that, you know, it happens every month. So they ought to get on them tomorrow or Monday at the latest. That's all I have. Thank you.
Jess Ocampo, District 6. I addressed the issue on the postponement being delayed one. So what I've done is since we get a copy of the Board of Directors message, you know, so I did a brief of it and attached it and included it in my newsletter. So I could distribute the newsletter this week. Anyway, that's it.
Sophie Hyde, District 11. We had a very successful summer party May 10th over at Lori's house. It was very well attended. It looks like we're planning on another one at the end of June, maybe early July. And that's it.
Peggy Heaton, alternate delegate for District 12. No comments today.
Hello, Carly Beeks, District 14, and I have a question for Joke. Apparently this morning there's some situation that happened on Olympic Avenue. I had my residents calling me, said they saw this police squad cars and this and that. So I said, well, I'm going to my delegate meeting today, so I will ask the question.
They're correct. There were a large contingency of law enforcement officers this morning on Olympic Boulevard.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what happened. I went by there twice. They were very busy. I didn't want to bother them. As a former law enforcement officer myself, I understood later they had a meeting in the parking lot across the street. So from my experience, they were coming to look for somebody to take to a different location. So I didn't see a crime scene later in the early morning, so I don't think that there was anything of that nature that took place. The forensics would be there. They were gone. So I'll get further information. Chris and I'll call the chief and give them some time to process whatever they did, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
B. Mercado, District 15. Things are pretty quiet in my district, so I'm going to be nice and good today and just let my district know they are fabulous people. I really do enjoy working for them. Have a great weekend.
Okay, I'll try and top that. Greg Voitko, District 16. June 22, Sunday, is our Western Hoedown summer party. I sent all of you our invite. If you're able to share it with your people, great. If not, that's okay too. Hernan and Bob have been helpful in distributing it via Facebook, Good Day Sun Lakes. It's working. We've got a couple of RSVPs from outside our district, so that's appreciated. RSVP deadline is Monday the 16th, so if you'd like to join us, let us know.
I'm Linda Myers-Cowell, the alternate delegate for District 17, and the only event that I have to speak of is I have a gratitude luncheon for my zone captains every year, which is going to be Friday the 13th. And I have 23 loyal zone captains that I couldn't work 215 houses without, and I appreciate them. Thank you.
Anita Lawrence, District 18. I'd like to welcome Jill Bean as the new alternate zone captain. She's taken on 2 zones, Zone A1 and B2, and I'd like to thank her for being part of the District 18 team. We are also having a district party with District 12 on June 28th, catered by Tacos and Beer. It's called Let's Give 'Em Something to Taco About. And the reservation date, cutoff date is June 21st. I'd just quickly like to tag on to what Jim Nichols said about Riverside National Cemetery. A few years ago, my husband and I, Peggy Heaton and her husband and another couple, we went the Saturday before Memorial Day and placed flags on the graves. If you want a feeling of honoring our veterans, participate in that. So maybe next year, that's something we could do as a group. Jim and I can work together and maybe get a group of people that wants to go and place the flags on the graves. Thank you.
Marcia Midget, District 19. We had planned a party last month, an event, Spring Fling. Unfortunately, we had 8 people turn in, so it was canceled. So it's kind of sad to see everybody work hard to try to put something together and then don't have anybody come. So District 19, you got to do better. That's it.
Kate Reed, District 20. I just wanted to say I got the Spectrum boxes installed, a new Zumo box. It's making me crazy. They also gave me a new modem so I can download faster, except nothing's connected to my automatic stuff. That's crazy making. And it is more difficult for my husband to do the things he wants, change the habits that he had. So we're working it through that. I forgot, I was going to say something else. Anyway, I'm really glad to be here. I was out for a bit doing service for the community, and I actually got paid. Woohoo! So don't have anything to report on our district. we will be having an event, but it's not until October. So, thank you.
Mike Vols, District 22. We recently had a barbecue out, and I want to thank Jana for putting on a great show, and Bill McDade for helping me barbecue all the hamburgers and hot dogs up. We had a great time. I second what B. Mikado just said about having some great people in our district, and I just want to thank everybody for their support of our district. Thank you.
Charlie London, District 23. B, you just got back from Portugal. That's why you're so happy. If I went there for 2 weeks, I'd probably be smiling more myself. Anyways, in our district, we had a recycling crew came up with $266. We gave to charity last month to Faith in Action and to Himberling Elementary School. The PE coach over there needed volleyballs, so we gave them 3 new volleyballs for the kids to play with. They were very excited about that and enjoyed that very much. We do have a barbecue coming up on July 19th, and we hope we get a good participation from that. Again, with Spectrum, it was a challenge because my wife is usually pretty good with computers, but we got the modem and the router installed, and then all of a sudden up on our TVs came, call this number. TVs were working perfectly. And calling that number, we got a technician out the next day because they couldn't fix it over the phone. And the technician did a good job with installing ours. And I won't mention his comments about the Zumo boxes, but keep your own recorders. That's pretty much all I got until next month. Thank you very much.
Kate?
I just wondered if we are going to get Channel 97 on the Zumo box thing. I don't know. I was thinking about it today. I usually record this meeting, and when I can't record it.
I don't know either. Anyone in admin have an answer, an inkling, a clue?
Okay, here we go. No, it was turned off, now it's on. Okay, so Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that Spectrum is working on it. There was something with their switch to fix on their end, I believe, and they're still working on that.
Yes, sorry, hello. Channel 97 runs through a coax from the hub in Yucaipa. So it's kind of ran through like a LAN type, not through Wi-Fi or anything, which the Zumo boxes, as you know, are Wi-Fi now. They are trying to work on that. I am waiting to hear back. They said they should have something to me tomorrow with some more information that I can get out to the community by early next week, hopefully. I'm just waiting on that. So what they're telling me is they're trying to work on that. They're trying to work on the connectivity issue, but they haven't resolved it quite yet. But that is something that they are doing. So I do not have a date for you right now. I'm hoping to have something for you real quick.
And if I'm not mistaken, you can always get those meetings on YouTube.
YouTube
Thank
come
you.
through your Zumo
You
box.
told me that at the workshop, too, on that other thing.
Yeah, if you go to YouTube and type in Sun Lakes Country Club, District Delegate Assembly, it'll show up on there. But yeah, they are working on the Zumo box to connect to Channel 97 this time.
Thank you. Oh. Dolores.
I forgot. Thank you, Linda, for reminding me about your luncheon that you had for your zone captains. I had one last week for all of my zone captains, my MRTs, my EPAP coordinator / programmer. She handles it both. And I have my sunshine lady and the lady that does my recycling. I had a luncheon, and there was 5 that couldn't show up for various reasons, but they really appreciate it. And we were able to go over to the sandwich to give them our business. One last thing. Ann Hofert's been a delegate for several years, and I've known her from the very beginning. And I think we should all keep her in prayer because she's really going through a rough time with her husband and his latter stages of dementia. So if we can all keep her in prayer, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. And news from District 21. I would like to just say thank you so much to Walt and Jeanette Ingram for going along with my crazy cornhole golf hole. We had to present something that looked like Iowa, so I'm okay with the blow-up animals and a way to anchor them to the ground. I'm okay with the screens that look like cornfields and anchor those to the ground. But I made the worst-looking scarecrow you ever saw, and they came to the rescue and came up with 6 really, really astounding decorations for that hole, and everybody seemed to like it. So thank you, guys. You are appreciated. We will move now to old business. There, I don't
Cal,
believe there's.
It's Marcia.
Hi, Marcia.
I just want you to know I've been doing the Monster Scramble for many years. That was absolutely the best hole decorations I have ever seen. It was awesome. So thank you for all your time and effort on that one.
It was kind of fun. I don't see any old business on the calendar. Does anybody have any they need to bring forward that I might have omitted? Okay, then we'll move to new business, which I told you I'm going to strike the motion for the board liaison until Ann can present it herself. And that takes us to member comments. And this is open comment from membership. You have 3 minutes at the microphone. If you care to make comment, I would caution that you please certainly be civil in your presentation, then that your comments be germane to something that the delegate assembly can affect. Michelle.
Good afternoon. I forgot I was going to mention this earlier. I received an email from someone from our community. I'm not going to say who it is, but I want to read this to you. We were hours away of losing our $19,000. The fraud was very calculated with letters from the bank and also from Social Security and Microsoft that our accounts had been hacked. I am hoping that no one else in here lost their money. It was so complicated and they were so convincing it almost worked. Is there a way to get this word out to the community? I am planning to post it on Facebook. Grace and Eddie, the branch manager at US Bank at the Albertson Center, helped us get everything straightened out and said they wished that they could explain what to do if it happened to other members of our community. She said, Michelle, this would be a good community awareness program. Her name is Grace and the manager, Eddie, and they would be happy to come and speak. It was a horrible experience. And if not for this person's questions, who knows what might have happened. As the victims, we have been so many people we have to contact, and the list is long. I'm going to call the police and file a police report to report the fraud. Wow. So just to let you know, there are a lot of fraudsters out there. It was not just an email, it was many different things. It was Social Security, it was calling and all kinds of things. So just beware. I mean, I put a lot of things out on community awareness about different fraud scams, caregivers, this type of thing. Please put in your, to just be very careful about anybody. If it sounds too good to be true, it is.
Anyone else have a comment from membership? If there are no more comments, I just need a motion for adjournment. Kate moves. We've got a second. Let's all go home.